You are now listening to the Life of Produk Podcast.
Yeah, what up, man? It's boy Product from the Life of Product Podcast, man. Episode 64, man. You know, I usually start these shows out with really big energy, really positive energy, but a lot's been going on. A lot of tragedy has been going on. I want to say rest in peace to all of the people that were killed in Texas. The children were killed in Texas, 19 students. I'm not sure how many staff or if the teacher was killed as well. Rest in peace to them, and my condolences to everyone affected by it, to the family members, to the fellow students that are now scarred from this, that are going through it. This is wrong. We are living in really scary times, and we've been in scary times for a minute. We didn't just get there. Can we not act like we just got to this place where things are suddenly bad? Things been bad, and I'm gonna get into that later on. Today's episode is titled "No More Shootings, Please." And I'm asking that respectfully. You know, we all come, most not everybody, but me and similar people, we all come from the hood. We come from places where we glorify certain activities in music, whether it's trap music, boom bap, party music, stuff like that. We glorify things in movies. We glorify a certain type of lifestyle or whatever. There's nothing cool about it. Ain't nothing cute about it. There's nothing cool about it, about burying your loved one. There's nothing cool about seeing children buried that were shot. These kids, they were robbed of life. I'm pretty sure these kids all of them had a bright future. I believe I read that one of the students was a girl and she was a basketball player at the school. And I saw a post from her brother. I can't imagine that. I can't imagine as a parent, God forbid, you know what I'm saying, knock on wood, having to bury one of my kids. I can't do it. I'm a very strong person. I'm a very strong dude. I don't have the strength to do that. I don't have it in me. So my condolences goes out to all of the parents, to everyone affected, to the family members, to the friends, everyone at the school, everyone in Texas. I forgot the name of that city. You know, that city in Texas affected by it. This is a tragedy. You know, when tragedies happen, we all go through it. We all go through it, not just that person, not just that immediate family, not just the family as a whole, not just that community. We all go through it. We are all going through it. The shooter was only 18. This kid was 18. He was an 18-year-old kid. He just turned 18, I believe. Recently, he just turned 18. Which is crazy. You know what I mean? But this is what's going on. And from the things that I've been reading and from the videos I've watched, and he fit the demographic of an active shooter. I hate to say it. You know, his name was Salvador Ramos. He was 18 years old. 18 years old. He is now dead. The police killed him. He could have changed his ways and himself had a bright future. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get into that as well. So I recently read somewhere that Texas was either about to change their gun laws or they changed their gun laws to the point where now he used a rifle. I'm not sure what the gun laws are for a rifle, but I'm going to talk about that as well. I know for handguns, it was said that they either changed it or they recently were going to change it to where you don't even need a permit now. You could literally just walk into a gun store with a license or a non-driver's ID and buy a gun. You could buy a handgun. I guess there's no background checks going on stuff like that. I don't know what the laws are for rifles. I know, so a lot of y'all are familiar. I don't live in New York no more. I live in North Carolina. I don't need a permit to go buy a rifle. I was actually just rifle shopping a few weeks ago. You don't need a rifle for it. I'm going to keep it 100 with y'all. I got a non-G2C. You know what I'm saying? Me, myself, I bought a lot of ammo just to have it. I'm not going to go shoot stuff up. I went to Walmart on a Sunday night and paid for my Mossberg. I got a 20 gauge. I paid for my Mossberg on a Sunday night in Walmart, and I picked it up about 2 weeks later. This is how simple it is in certain states. It's simple. You can literally just go, hey, I want that, and go get it. You know what I'm saying? Which is it's wild to me. But this is how real it is in America. Salvador Ramos, from what I was reading, bought his rifle on May 17th. 24 hours later, listen to me, 24 hours later, he bought over 300 rounds of ammo. So he bought his rifle on the 17th. On the 18th, he bought over, I think it said 375 rounds of ammo. He bought a second rifle on May 20th. So this was something was going to happen. He planned on something happening. You know what I'm saying? And my apologies to the family of Salvador Ramos if they actually Listen to this. I'm not sitting here doing this at him. I'm just pointing out the facts. These are facts. This is what he did. So he bought the first rifle on the 17th. 24 hours later, bought about 75 rounds of ammo. And then on the 20th, he went and bought a second rifle. So dude was strapped up. He was ready. He was ready to get it in. You know what I'm saying? So on the 24th is when he shot his grandmother in the face. So if y'all don't know the history of it, he was living with his mother, and I believe he was a high school dropout. He was working at a Wendy's. Yeah, he was working at a Wendy's. Him and his mother had a falling out. Dude left his mother's house because I'm not making none of this stuff up. These are facts. Left his mother's house because they had an argument about the Wi-Fi. She turned the Wi-Fi off. As a parent, we've all turned the Wi-Fi off. We've all turned the Wi-Fi off, and all of these kids get mad to a certain degree when the Wi-Fi gets turned off. Now, if he left his mother's house and went to go live with his grandmother because the Wi-Fi was turned off, he shot his grandmother in the face. And it said that it said that him and his grandmother got into an argument because she was mad he dropped out of high school or whatever. And it said that he dropped out due to multiple reasons. You know what I'm saying? And I want to get into that as well. So shot his grandmother in the face. It's sad. Our grandmothers are our safe zone. Grandmothers for boys, especially in the Black and the Hispanic community. Grandma, abuela is your safe zone usually. That's the person who you run to when you ain't get it, when you ain't agreeing with your mother and your father. And he shot his grandmother in the face. If he shot his grandmother, he'll shoot anybody. What he did, you know what I'm saying? And it's so. After he shot his grandmother, he took her vehicle. I think she had a pickup truck. He took her pickup truck and he had it over to the school. And it said that he ran into. I don't know if he made a stop before that, but I know he popped a couple shots at two other people before he went to the school, and he missed. He met those people are still alive. This is how we know about that because they lived to tell about it. Ran the pickup truck into the gate of the school, I believe, and then he runs in there. Now, it said that Salvador was in the classroom that he went into for an hour when he killed the 19 students. Let me correct myself. He didn't kill 19 students. He slaughtered 19 students. I believe the teacher was in there as well. I don't know exactly what happened with the teacher. I'm assuming the teacher got shot as well, so I don't want to say that. But he slaughtered 19 students. Slaughtered 19 students. What pushed him to the edge to even have the balls or the gall to do this? What snapped in his head that said, yo, I'm gonna run up in the school, I'm a bang bang. It's sad, dog. And it says that a lot of parents were outside trying to get into the school. I think they said a couple of them were able to get around the cops to get their kids out, but the police were handcuffing and macing parents, not letting them into the school. Meanwhile, there were actual cops that ran in there with their guns drawn and got their kids out because some of the cops, they had kids that went to their school. So y'all was able to get y'all kids out. God forbid, I'm sorry if some of y'all police officers did lose your kids, but the other ones were able to get their kids out, but not the other parents who actually had kids in that classroom couldn't get their kids out. That's wrong. That's wrong. You was paid to protect and serve. You know what I'm saying? I know they said at a certain, I think an hour later, a task force came or whatever. There was a father I watched on the news, and he said how he begged the police to give him a gun and a vest to run in there. Now, if this civilian begged for a gun and a vest, which I'm willing to bet money he had gun training because everybody in Texas got a gun. Everybody in Texas got a gun, just about. If this man, even without gun training, without anything, if this man was begging to go in there and risk his life, why couldn't y'all go in there and do the job y'all were paid to do? Come on. And they killed him. The task force came and I don't know how long the standoff was, but they killed him or whatever. So I've seen people say things like, oh, they shouldn't have killed him. They should have left him alive, put him in jail, let him suffer. I don't condone violence. I don't condone murder, but he was killed, and hopefully him being killed set an example because all these other active shooters, y'all been letting them go for years. Y'all let active shooters shoot people up. Y'all let them go to trial and walk off trial. Y'all taking them to Burger King. Y'all let them shoot churches up and go to trial and still be alive. Come on, man. This is, you know what? This is y'all fault. The powers that be, the judges, The politicians, the government, the cops, y'all have had this in y'all control all these years. And every time up until now, y'all fumble. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about this, man. Shouts out to Anchor FM for the distribution and the sponsorship. Life of Produk Podcast, episode 64. Bang, bang. Yeah, what up, man? It's the boy Produk from the Life of Produk Podcast. Man, I'm back. Shouts out to Anchor FM for the sponsorship, for the distribution, man. Shouts out to the fans, man. I love y'all. The streaming numbers are going up. The YouTube numbers are going up, man. I got a lot of subscribers now. Thank y'all, man. I need more. I need more. I wanted to bring really, really great positive energy for this episode, but sometimes you can't do that. Sometimes you have to really address this realness that's going on, the real stuff that's going on, the stuff that's hard to talk about. We got to talk about it. Again, rest in peace to the 19 students that were slaughtered in Texas. Rest in peace. If any staff members were victims as well. Our condolences to the families, to the other students and the other staff members affected by it, to the city, to the whole state of Texas. Man, these things are tragic. I want to play devil's advocate for a minute, and some of y'all might get mad at me, right? But this is a question I want to pose to the public. Was the monster created? Salvador Ramos was the shooter with the rifle who killed everyone, who slaughtered those children. Was the monster created? At a certain point, we have to also ask this as well, because, listen, man, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, right? All my years growing up in Brooklyn, New York, running around New York City, anytime there's an active shooter, we always blame the whole mental health, right? I've seen a lot of crazy people, crazy homeless people, crazy people off their meds, walking through the streets of Brooklyn, outside the subway, running through, man. You walk through Times Square, go to Penn Station on a Tuesday, you'll see it. I ain't not once did I see any of them shooting anything up. Not once did I see them shooting anything up. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying people with mental health don't hurt people. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying none of these active shooters didn't have mental health. But stop blaming mental health on everything. I know people with mental health. I've had friends with mental health. It is disrespectful to them, blaming everything on them, putting them in that category. Because a lot of people with mental health wake up and deal with real struggles every day. They can't even decide which pair of shoes they want to put on. They're back and forth. They forget their phones. They forget to call people back. That's other levels of mental health. And y'all putting them in the same category with this. Stop putting people with mental health in the same category as evil. Stop doing that. At a certain point, y'all gotta chill with that. Don't come on, man. Y'all not only are y'all playing with them, y'all playing with the public. Y'all finagling out of ways or reasons that these people should be really disciplined. And y'all been doing that for a while. So like I said, was the monster created? Was he created? It's sad, but okay, let's say like this, right? Here's a lot of facts about Salvador Ramos. He was constantly picked on. For years in school, he was constantly picked on. He was made fun of. People laughed at his clothes because he was poor. He wasn't the freshest kid in school. He was made fun of because he dressed bad. He had a stutter and a lisp. You understand what I'm saying? He had a stutter and a lisp. I don't know what his family life was like. I'm guessing it wasn't the best, but he had a stutter and a lisp. You know how many jokes they had to make on this kid to have a stutter and a lisp? All kind of jokes was probably made about this kid. A stutter, a lisp. He was dressed bad. Because we live in a society. When I was a kid growing up, if you didn't have the freshest clothes, you was laughed at. It's even worse now. Because now we got TikTok, we got Instagram, we got all these social media platforms where everybody on it only posts the freshest pics. We live in a society where, as a boy, and I'm not targeting women, so here's a disclaimer, I'm not targeting y'all, but as a boy growing up, and I'm speaking from experience, even as a young man, if you didn't have the freshest clothes, if you didn't dress nice to a certain degree, girls did not like you. You was back in the swag days. You was bagging shorties off your swag. If you had the latest Jordans, you could have a white T-shirt on like I'm wearing that right now. If you had the freshest Jordans and a nice fitted or snapback and a piece of jewelry, you was bagging shorty. He didn't have none of that. So was the monster created? Is what I'm asking y'all. His classmates called him names. His classmates even used to call him the active shooter. They called him the active shooter. Now, listen. Maybe they seen it like they was there with him every day. When you're in school and you sit next to a kid or you got classes with a kid, you kind of learn their personality. So maybe he had active shooter potential back then. I don't know. Or maybe by them planting that name in his head, he probably said, you know what? I am going to be an active shooter. I'm going to bong bong and light something up. Because some people just accept the labels that they're given and they actually partake in it. This is true. This happens. You can actually read up on that. So was the monster created? It's said that at one point he was even wearing black eyeliner. He wore black eyeliner. So maybe he was gothic, the goth type. Maybe he was gay. Most straight boys don't wear eyeliner. They don't do that. So if they are straight wearing eyeliner, they're usually the gothic type. And that's a whole nother set of issues right there. That's a whole nother set of issues from my experience, right? I didn't experience gothic kids growing up in Brooklyn. We didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? We didn't do that. I didn't experience that until I finished high school in North Carolina. And I started meeting like kids that were my age and a little younger, older, that were gothic type. They had the gauges in the ear. They was wearing eyeliner. They was wearing spiky hair. They was coming to school in like the checkerboard pajama looking pants with the chains hanging from it, with those weird looking sneakers. I forgot what those sneakers was called. And the bell bottom looking shoes where they would drag on the floor and they had to fold the bottom. Those was the gothic types that wore the eyeliner. Maybe he was doing that. It would look really weird in 2022 or whatever, or the surrounding years, to see a kid dressing like that. But I don't know. I don't know how they rock in Texas. I don't know if the God thing is still a wave out there. I don't know what they doing on the Southwest. This was the thing. So it's said also that he went on social media and sent the message that he was going to shoot his grandmother. It's said that he went on social media after he did it and said he did it. Then it said that he sent another message through social media that he was going to go shoot an elementary school up, and he did this all in that time frame of when all of it was done. He was a ticking time bomb. He was a ticking time bomb, You know, in the black community, like I said, in the black community and Hispanic community, boys love their grandmothers. Boys love their mothers in the black and the Hispanic community. So for him and his mother to have fallen outs, there's no telling what the relationship was like. I'm not putting all the blame on his mother. Look, put it like this, right? As a parent, you could beat your kid, discipline your kid. You could turn the Wi-Fi off. It's still not gonna always work. It ain't gonna always work. Some people just have this personality after a certain time implanted in them due to things that they've experienced or just how they think. We all think different. So was the monster created? Was the monster created? If you think it's hard being a young black boy in America, imagine how hard it is being a young Hispanic boy in America, in Texas, where half the state is racist. I said it, half the state of Texas is racist. There's a lot of racists in Texas. There's a lot of y'all in Texas. So what if he experienced discrimination? What if he obviously was experiencing discrimination from his own people? Because to my knowledge, that city that he lived in was there's a lot of Hispanic people in it. The Hispanic community is very large. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he didn't fit in with all of them. Maybe they looked at him like, yo, what's wrong with him? Who raised him? This is what kids say. So him feeling like an outsider, him having problems at home. He obviously had insecure issues. He had hidden insecurities that came to light with the whole gothic wave, with the black eyeliner and things like that. This stuff results to violence. It results to violence. I also read, man, this is crazy, but I also read that he would throw eggs at cars, and he was fighting a lot. He was getting into a lot of fights. Yo, he had rage in him. He had teenage rage in him. He had teenage boy rage in him that just needed to come out. It needed to come out, and it came out the wrong way. It came out the right. I hate that it came out this way for him. Look what happened as a result. Not only are innocent children dead, he's dead. I'm pretty sure somewhere in him, there was potential for him to fix his life. Now, if he was still alive today and that never happened, it might have taken years to do it. It might have taken more years of heartbreak, more years of sadness, more years of anger. It might have taken a lot of trial and error. It might have taken a lot of failure to fix whatever was wrong with him, but it could have been done. It could have been done. If he would have wanted it, If he would have wanted to fix it, it could have been done. We don't know what this kid went through at night, man. We don't know what he went through in his heart emotionally. We don't know what he went through mentally. This kid probably cried himself to sleep at night. Yo, at 18, you should not be going to buy rifles and ammo to go shoot stuff up. You should be trying to have a good time. You should be finishing school, going to college, taking classes. You should be innovating in 2022. We have so many apps and tools to innovate. Gia, Life of Produk Podcast, episode 64. I'm going to come back with the third segment of the show. Gia, Life of Produk Podcast, man, episode 64. We are back. Thank you for tuning in today, man. Very, very serious issues. Again, rest in peace to the 19 students that were killed. Our condolences and blessings to anyone that was affected by it. When a young boy is picked on, if he doesn't learn how to process that anger and move on, he literally has two choices in life. If he doesn't learn how to cope with it, release it, and move on with his life, he has two options. He either becomes Batman or the Joker. Look at the kid with the orange hair years ago that shot up, I believe, the movie theater. He said he wanted to be the Joker. So there's some truth to what I'm saying. He either becomes Batman or the Joker. He either becomes part of the solution or he becomes part of the problem. And apparently this kid became part of the problem. And I hate to say that. It hurts even talking about that. There's a lot of outside influence in these kids' lives. There's a lot of when I was coming up and they started gang banging. We already had gangs in New York. We had gangs in New York. We had cliques, we had gangs, we just had hood stuff going on where any day that it could pop off. But we had outside influence when gang banging became more commercial and real, quote unquote, when they started blooding and cripping in New York. Those were the things we were going through. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays, it's more than that. It's gangs, it's social media. Kids are mean. Kids are meaner. Kids are 10 times meaner now than they were growing up. And you know why? Because a lot of these kids, they once something real happens to them, they want to play victim to the person that bullied them, to the person they were bullying. When a person they were bullying does something retaliates, they want to play victim. They want to call the cops. They want to run. They want to go to school, to the principal and things like that. Then the victim becomes a villain. But there's a lot of outside influence. Video games are a very huge influence. When I was coming, we had Street Fighter, we had NBA Jam, we had GoldenEye. I ain't not once in my life growing up ever seen somebody go play GoldenEye and want to go shoot a school up, go shoot a block up. People were shooting blocks up. But coming up where I came from, it was over some hood stuff. It was never over a video game. It was never over Contra. It wasn't over none. It was never over Resident Evil. I ain't never see somebody want to go put two guns on their hip and bang bang because they just finished playing Lara Croft. I've never seen that. You got these kids playing Fortnite. They playing Call of Duty. They playing all these games now, and it's got to be something affecting their brains from these first person shooters, from these third person shooters that they're playing. That's making them really want to do it. Look at the dude. Look at the guy that shot up the supermarket in Buffalo. Shot up the supermarket in Buffalo. People like this are a result of politicians, government, feds, police, all that stuff, because you guys have not been implementing the proper discipline on them when it happens. You cannot give an active shooter who you didn't kill after he actively shot people a fair trial. Why is Kyle Rittenhouse walking free? He went there with a assault rifle or whatever kind of gun he had. He was a kid and he went there with the objective to kill. Why y'all letting these people walk free? Y'all are not implementing the proper whatever when it happens. Y'all are not doing it. Y'all are not. It is y'all fault. It is y'all fault. You know what sucks? The fact that Salvador Ramos was Hispanic, and now I'm pretty sure all of the racist people are feeling like they got one now. They feeling like they won because the kid was Hispanic and he killed his own people. And this literally happened right after the Buffalo shooting, where the dude went there with a GoPro camera. It looked like a first-person shooter. If you watch, it looks like a video game when you watch it. Had the N-word written on the gun. Killed all these black people. Killed one white person, I believe, and apologized when he did it. And he got what? I think only one first-degree murder charge or something like that. Come on. The kid that had shot up the church years ago. The white kid that walked into the black church and shot it up years ago. Why did he even get a trial? Why did he even sit for that long before they decided what was going to happen to him? Why did that happen? Why? Because y'all are selective. Y'all are selective with it. If it's people of color, if it's people of color that's getting killed, oh, we gonna wait, we gonna ride this out. We gonna see if he could be rehabilitated. He was a good boy. No, he wasn't. He was a murderer, and he thought about what he was gonna do. And this kid did the same thing. I'm not trying to play the race card and fully say boom, 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 but I'm just calling it for what it is. We live in 2022. Let's take the veil from over this and stop pretending. Can we stop pretending at a certain point? When are we gonna stop pretending? When are we going to stop pretending? The same powers that be that have allowed people to feel comfortable being active shooters are the same powers that be that have felt cops, allow cops to feel comfortable to George Floyders. Yes, they have. Yes, I've seen cops when they had the whole stop and frisk thing, which I just heard that they might put it back in, which I'm praying they don't put it back in. That's a hard conversation. It's a hard conversation because New York City is a very very crime, syndicated city. A lot of stuff happened. I was on Bushwick Avenue one time in Brooklyn. I was in Bushwick Avenue and I was driving down to Williamsburg. Years ago when I had my Charger. I'm sitting at a very long light. Just get to the light. I see two kids. It was the summertime and I'll never forget this. They had to be about 13 years old, 13, 14 the most. Skinny kids with baggy tank tops on, basketball shorts, and sneakers. And two cops hopped up on the curb in front of them. They both fell as their Impala hopped up on the curb. Cops hopped out. It was a black cop and a white cop. The white cop had to be about 6 feet. Black cop had to be about 6'3", 6'4", 280 pounds with a gut. Told the kid, yo, give me the guns and the drugs right now. The kid was like guns and drugs. There was a black kid and a Puerto Rican kid. The black cop puts his foot on the Puerto Rican kid's back. I was so mad, I wanted to hop out and do something. Guess what? If I did, I wouldn't even be here today right now. I'd be dead right now if I did that. What could I do? People were beeping their horns, yelling at the cops, cursing at the cops. Cop literally said, give me the guns and drugs. The kid was like, yo, I ain't guns and drugs. What are you talking about? They patted the kids down, sat them up, put them on the curb, threw them back on the ground, then let them go. And we sat there and watched it because it happened so fast, but we was at a long light. How do you do that? How do you do that? You know how you do that? Because you're given power by the city to do that. You're given power from the people above you with power that are letting you do that. Dog, y'all are horrible. Y'all are horrible. Y'all not protecting and serving. Y'all ain't protecting and serving. Y'all worry about the college fund that your kids are building, that you're building for your kids that's going to go to these nice schools while you terrorize everybody else. Yeah, you're terrorizing everybody else. Salvador Ramos is partly your fault. It's your fault. He is your fault. The dude that shot up the store in Buffalo, he is your fault. That dude that shot up that movie theater years ago with the orange hair because he wanted to be the Joker, that is your fault. Nobody else is to blame for it. And guess what? It ain't going to stop here. It's going to keep on going. He's not the last one. He's not, because it's like that's becoming the narrative of the summer of 2022. Is that what we're doing in summer 2022? We allowing people to just go shoot stuff up? Come on, B. Come on. Us as society need to stop being mean to people because y'all are creating these people. Like I said in the second part of the show, was the monster created? Was the monster created? A part of me feels like, yes, he was created. I feel like no matter what goes on in a person's household, we are still affected by outside influence. How many girls grew up in a church family? They were taught morals. They were taught to respect themselves and protect themselves. And they grew up and they was leaving outside the house and became thoughts. I knew a lot of church girls that was starting when they left the house while they was in high school, while they was in college, and they was getting it in. Excuse my mouth, but they was getting it back blown out. Whole freak energy, freak waves. And guess what? It was because of outside influence. It was outside influence. Men and women cheat because of outside influence. A woman could leave out the house, and before she gets to the train station in New York, she might walk 2 blocks. Those 2 blocks, she's going to have about 10 dudes in between her doorstep in that train station in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, trying to bag her and trying to holler at her. And guess what? That might happen for weeks, months, years. She just might take one day. It's because of outside influence. That's why. So maybe, just maybe, If the outside influence in Salvador Ramos's life wasn't negative and it was positive, and it was kids not laughing at him because he had a lisp, not laughing at him because he had a stutter, not laughing at him because he dressed bad, not laughing at him because he was wearing black eyeliner, maybe he would not have did that. Maybe he would have been consumed with love and just wanted to hang out with his friends and excel in life. Maybe he would not have dropped out of high school. Maybe he would have went to high school. He might have been a smart kid. He might have had something that would have elevated life in general. We don't know. We don't know. And I hate that we don't know. So, overall, rest in peace to everyone affected by it. My condolences to the family. Like I said, it's Life Product Podcast, man. Episode 64. Rock with your boy. Check me out on YouTube. YouTube.com/Life of Produk Podcast. That's PRODUK. Check me out on Instagram. Life of Produk. LIFEOFPRODUK. Peace and blessing to everybody. I'm out. Yeah.
You are now listening to the Life of Produk Podcast.